Hi there. Mr. Steve Benway recently showed us his trials and tribulations on the Super Monaco Grand Prix on the arcade, and I thought I'd give it a try as well. See if I'm any better at it than Steve is. We'll check it out how I did. I actually have the game on a couple of other systems which I'd like to show you, and of course I will share with you how I did on the arcade version as well. Take a look. The game was released on various home platforms, including the Amstrad CPC, and although I just love the machine, I didn't love the game on this machine. The sound is just horrible, and it plays like 1/10 of the speed that you would expect to play. So it's more like watching a slideshow than playing actually a fun racing game. I was so disappointed when I got this. The plus side is that it actually uses the multicolor mode of the CPC, and that the landscape actually features objects. The Amstrad CPC hardware doesn't support any scaling, and that shows. And the sound of the engine is really obnoxious. It's certainly not the best port that's out there. Let's move on to another. Okay, it's time for the Sega Master System port, which is a lot better. Well, a lot better. It actually, the screen actually reminds me of Pit Stop 2, but it's not that playable actually. This port lacks scaling objects on the side of the road, and the road really doesn't move that much. Leaving out the scaling objects actually was a wise move of the programmers, as it leaves more processing power to do the rest of the game, which is actually more fluid. Take a look at the sequel. Okay, so there's no mandatory split screen dual action thing going on, but it's very hard to shift. This version actually shows some rather nice scaling. Now let's move on to what I think is the most playable 8-bit port out there. It's not the prettiest though. Okay, it plays a lot better, but the layout of the screen is very off. I mean, there's this huge back mirror visible on top of the screen, and the road, I mean, the perspective of the road is just off, you know, everything looks squashed. I must admit, this is the port I played the most, and let's see if I can qualify. The car responds very indirectly, and there's no real sense of speed. The programmers did introduce some scaling, which is very coarse, but it's there. The scenery is actually quite sparse though. The Amstrad CPC version actually featured a lot more scenery. Wow, I'm third right now. Will I be able to keep this, or will I just fall back, go behind? Oh well, it's obviously the latter. Whoa, I did manage to qualify. Typical sit ship sound. Where's the other cars? You'd expect some cars in front of me. Okay, well, I'm abysmal at this. Let's move on to what I consider to be the best home port, the best 16-bit home port. I believe the Amiga version is actually quite close to this one. The Mega Drive, or otherwise known as Genesis. This game features menus that are very similar to the arcade version. It's quite a bit different though, but it features a lot of nice scaling, a lot of nice sprites, and the gameplay is actually very nice. A big contrast to the arcade version is actually the absence of any scenery. The arcade version boosts enormous amounts of scenery, and you'll be able to see that in a couple of seconds. The layout of the road is a bit better than the Commodore 64 version, and I just very much like the scenery at the back, the backdrop, the landscape, the stamp that's moving horizontally. And as you just saw, there's actually vertical movement. The road moves up and down vertically as well. Whoa, I placed 14th. Nice. This is how it is supposed to be. Cars in front of you when you're placed 14th, and not empty road like on the Commodore 64. The raw 16-bit processing power of the console really makes this game shine, something that cannot be done on the 8-bit platforms. I seem to be playing a game of Road Blast or a Road Wars instead of a Formula 1 driving game. As you can see, I totally suck at this game. So how will I fare on the arcade? Let's go check it out. As you can see, great scaling, great gameplay. Yeah, it's a whole lot better than all the other versions combined. Yeah, it really makes you feel that the sense of speed, and the game actually does the same. Almost gives the same racing experience as the more modern polygon-based racing games do. Excellent title. Hey, practice makes perfect. I came in 12th this time. I think Steven Benway came in 14th. Okay, I wonder, will I be able to finish? This game really has an amazing sense of speed to it. Rad Racer. I think that's the game that's very closely related to it when it comes to hardware. Yeah, I really think this pushes the limits of the 2D sprite pushing machines. Yeah, you really need polygons for something that's even more smooth. Okay, fail. I fail. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. Back with another video soon.